Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing about Git basic commands. For this, a prerequisite is you have to download and install Git package in your local system, and also you have to create or you should have a GitHub account and you should have a Git remote repository in the GitHub account. So first we will go with the Git basic commands, and if you don't have any GitHub account or if you don't know how to install Git, then I will load a link in the description. Please check the description. So now we will be understand a Git basic commands one by one. So first basic command is git init command. So you may have already know that we used git init command when we creating a local repository, right? Yes. This git init command is used to initialize a empty Git repository in the current directory. So how to initialize? We will go with the practical experiments. First I will create one folder, or you can also directly go to a git bash. Okay, I'm in the D drive. So what I will do, I will execute this git init command with the folder name or directory name. Okay, so directory name I can give project. This is my directory name. Project is my directory name. Inside this project folder, git empty folder will be created when you execute this command, or if you don't execute git init project, okay, so it only initialize git empty repository without a folder name. Okay, if you give project, so first it will create a folder, then it will initialize empty git repository in that folder. Okay, so now I will execute this command. You can see here. So when you open this project folder, git the empty repository will be created. Okay, so now inside that I will open git bash. So now I will do some configuration. So in order to do the configurations, you should know git config command. This git config command is used to configure your username and your email ID. So how to use this git config command? There is a syntax, that is git config -- global. In order to set username globally, then user.name, in double quotes you have to give your name. So you have set the username globally. Now you have to set email ID globally. Git config -- global .email. Okay, so after configuring this username and user email ID, so this person will become a owner for this repository. Okay, so now we will go with the next command. Next git command is git clone. Git clone is used to clone entire remote repository from your remote server to your local system. Okay, so first you have to open a GitHub account. So here I have one repository, that is a project. Okay, so or else if you want to use this existing repository, you can go to this. Here there is a link in code section. There is a link. Copy this link, execute git clone, inside double quotes you have to paste. You have to paste GitHub repository, remote repository URL. So this is a repository URL, okay, from your GitHub account. Okay, so execute this. This will help you to clone entire repository. Okay, so after successfully cloning your entire repository, that will be reflected here. Can you able to see here? The project folder will be reflected here. Okay. That is in the path of D drive project folder. In that project folder, okay, you can able to see the remote project folder which you have cloned just now. Okay. So now the next command is git add. When you will be using git add, when you add some files, something changes you have done in the file, that time you have to use this git add command. Okay. So it adds the specific files to the staging area. Working space to staging area, it will be adding your files. Your file will be moving from workspace to staging area. So when you choose git add command. Now I will create one file, or I will go to this project. I will create one new file. Creating one new file, that is index.html, in the remote project repository. Okay, so now I have created one file in that. So now this is our path. D drive. In that D drive, the project folder which is already created by us locally, this project folder which is cloned from the remote repository. Okay, so now I will go to the project folder. This file is created and it is still not at add. Okay, so if you, and one more command you should know before using git add command, that is git status command. This git status command will show the current state of your repository, including tracked and untracked files or modified files or branch informations. Okay, now we have a untracked files. Untracked file means which is not moved from your workspace to staging area. Okay, so if I execute git status, it will show the current state of your repository. Okay, now what is the current states of repository is untracked files we have. Why? Because we created a new HTML file, okay, which is untracked, which is not moved from your workspace to staging area. So in order to move index.html file to staging area, I will execute git add command. That is git add. Here you have to give either a file name or dot. Okay, either you have to give file name or dot or hyphen all. So if you give any one of this, it will add all modified new files to the staging area. If you execute git add, you have to specify the file name. It's okay to use this command when you have only one file to move from workspace to staging area. What if you have multiple files which is created and multiple files which you have done some changes? That time I can choose git add space dot or git add hyphen all. Okay, if you execute any one of this, it will help you to move all the modified files and new files that you have created from workspace to staging area. Both will work same. So if you execute git add index.html, it will only add a particular file from workspace to staging area. But if you choose git add space dot, it will move entire modified files and newly created files from workspace to staging area. Okay, both will work same. And now I will execute git status. So what git status will help us to show the current state of the repository. Now what is the current states? We use git add to move the files from workspace to staging area. Now that it is showing that it is already tracked. Now we have a tracked files which is not committed, means which is not committed, only we moved file from workspace to staging area, but it is still not yet committed. In order to commit this file, there is a one more command called git commit. Okay, there is a one more command called git commit. This git commit will help us to create a new commit with the changes in the staging area and opens the default text editor for adding the commit message if you give git commit without options. Okay, if you give option like git commit -m, so directly you can give the option -m and you can give the message and you can commit the changes which is there in the staging area, the files which is moved to the staging area. For that you can commit the changes and specify the message, commit message, then you can execute. Index.html file is in staging area. Now I need to commit using git commit. So I will add option -m in double quotes. New file is created. New file is created. This is commit message. New file is created. Now successfully we committed the file. Now check this status. Now it is telling nothing to commit. Okay, so if it is still it is showing that changes to be committed, then again you have to execute git commit -m and the message along with the git commit message. Okay, now it is showing nothing to commit, then no need to execute again this commit. So now directly I will push the file from my local repository to remote repository. Now my file is moved to local repository. Index.html file is moved to local repository. Now I need to push this file from local repository to remote repository. So how to push? We will be using the command called git push command. So this git push command will help you to push the local commits. That is, I already moved index.html file from workspace to staging area, from staging area to local repository. That file I want to push to a remote repository in a GitHub account. That is our GitHub account. Here I need to add that index.html file to my remote repository. How to add? Just execute git push command. Git push command. So if you get this error, why? Because first time when you created newly the GitHub account and which is still don't have an access to it. So if you get this authentication failed, then go to this setting options. So when you go to the settings options, scroll down, you will get a developer settings. Go to developer settings, personal access tokens. Click on tokens. Check the option generate new tokens. Give the password. I will give a project. When you go to personal access tokens, you have to create new personal access tokens. Then write some token name or note. Then choose no expiration. After choosing no expiration, check this workflow. Then user. Check this user option. Then write discussion. Check this write discussion. Then admin enterprise. Then admin JPG. Okay. So this options you have to select, that is admin JPG key, admin enterprise, write discussion, user, then workflow. Okay. So when you select this option, click on generate token. So copy this. This is a personal access tokens which you have created. Copy this. Execute this git push command. Here you will get this interface. Copy this. Go to token. Paste it. And click on sign in. So git push is completed. Okay. So in order to check whether the file is pushed from your local system to GitHub, go to this refresh. Now you successfully pushed your file from local system to remote repository, local repository to remote repository. You can see. Thank you for watching. So next video we will be discussing about other Git basic commands.